Why did you see Thomas leave the club?
No, it was fine by me.
I mean, did he sort of negate on any of your contracts when obviously Planet Ice took over, and were your contracts changed so you were going to lose this part of your contract or lose any assurances that you may have been given, like a car, like a house, etc.?
No, they're just the just the Planet Ice came in and we just had to share houses, which was something some of us weren't doing before, and we had to do that. So it was just a matter of accepting that and moving on.
And obviously your partner's over here with you at the moment.
That's right.
How is she happy with all this moving around?
No, it was a little tough at sometimes, but it's all worked out now.
Is she glad you still came over here then?
Oh no, she's from here. So,
she's from here. Oh, even better. Sorry, I do apologise.
Settled.
That's excellent. But you were saying, sort of, you took over the team, and 20 games later, the side was playing 500 hockey. You're winning 10, losing 10. I mean, did you feel that this team could continue in this vein of form throughout this whole period of time?
Yeah, I did. It's probably we probably question what would have happened if Kevin didn't get hurt. At the time. I think it would have been a total different season. I think with the 10 or 11 players we were going with, we probably should have stuck with them. And if we would have had Kevin, things would have been a lot different. Is that the turning point in the season for you? For me, it is.
Kevin's departure.
Yeah, for me, it is totally. That was the end of it.
You mentioned earlier on about Brad Cruikshank, about how sort of he was on the phone to you, bringing you into Basingstoke.
Right.
Were you disappointed with his departure? Did it leave you sort of on a lurch almost?
No, I think that if guys need to move, you need to move. I've had to leave clubs before for personal reasons, and I never would hold him back at all. Like, if he's got to move on, you've got a family, he's got one kid now and another one on the way, and who wouldn't want to go to a better club? So you can't hold it against him.
Were you receiving any other offers during this period of time to sort of move to other clubs, or were you?
No, I think with the uni, I'm stuck. I'm not stuck, but I'm here. But I don't. I would like to stay here. That's the whole top and bottom of it.
It's probably a perfect time to bring in the university course. Really, have you been enjoying your time down here in Winchester?
Yeah, it's been fantastic. I haven't been in school since for 10 years now, so it's a whole new adjustment and getting back into it, and I'm really enjoying it.
How do you find it being sort of what is considered a sort of full-time student as well as a full-time hockey player? Have you been able to merge the two roles correctly, or has it been difficult at times?
No, it's been fine. I just think you just got to do your time management. I think the first set of essays and exams that were due were those are the ones I focused most of my time on, and then after you kind of start cramming a little bit for the tail end of each session. But it's been fine, and I think that just time management is all it is.
You don't regret making this decision
at all?
No,
not at all. Not a bit.
We're going to talk about the sort of players coming in and moving out the club. I mean, there's been a high turnover of players this year, and just go on the Elite League website, you see the list of players that have actually played. 40 players or something. It's incredible. I mean, was it difficult to keep team morale together during this period, or was it quite comfortable?
I think it was fine. We had a really good group of guys, and I know that's just people might hear that and think, how did you guys get on with each other when you were that, losing all those games? But, when push came to shove and we're losing game after game, there's nothing you can do but have a laugh about it.
Yeah.
Like, we'd work hard and things just weren't going our way, and that's, we just flat out weren't good enough to win, so.
Do you think this sort of makes all the rumours on the internet forums and all the message boards sort of saying that the players were out drinking before, after, during games and all this? Do you think that the mentality that the side had, where it was to stick together and enjoy it, do you think that this is sort of making the fans say these things about the team when in fact half the rumours they're coming up with aren't true?
Yeah, those rumours are definitely not true for the most part. This wasn't a team that we could, we weren't good enough to win games when we were sober, let alone carrying on and partying like that. And that's just not the way we were for the most part, no.
Earlier in the season, you spoke to us here about how you were looking to bring in players to the team. You wanted to sort of help with the recruitment of players. Were you able to bring in the players you wanted to this team, or were your hands tied by constraints? Yeah,
I think they were tied a little bit by financial constraints and the budget that was set in place, and travel and visa restrictions and things like that. I think if if we had a whole summer to build a team, it would be a different story. We can bring in the people we wanted and get a budget in place. But the players that came in worked hard for us, and they did they did their job, and that's all we could have asked of them.
How do you feel? Because obviously there's some youngsters have come into the team. I mean, Andre Nietzsche and who's the other guy? I've forgotten. Mocek.
Yeah.
They're young kids coming into the league.
Right.
How do you feel they adjusted to playing over here? Because obviously you must take on a role to sort of supporting them along and sort of leadership to them.
They did fine. They just, Mocek's a 20-year-old kid, so it's going to take him time to adjust, and he's going to take some years to he's a bit green yet, and I think that if he played in the league, he'd be fine after a couple of years for sure.
A head coach's role, if it was to be offered to you tomorrow, an elite league team came up to you and said, Jeremy, can you become a head coach, player head coach? Would you be interested in taking it on?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
It's not, this year hasn't turned you off the idea of going into maybe coaching in later life?
No, not at all. No, I think you just need to get, all you need is to be prepared from the summer and have the budgets in place in the summertime and the housing in place in the summer, everything in place. And then I think if you could be on the smallest budget and still make it work as long as you know beforehand. So I think that Planet Ice will do a good job in the future with their budgets in place.
Yeah.
Right,
As a player, you're more known for your ability with your fists rather than the puck. But this year, recorded a career high with your points, 6 goals and 12 assists. Does this please you, the fact you're now being recognised for your on-ice ability with the puck as well as with your enforcing role?
Oh yeah, that's all. That's fun. It's just because of the minutes we got to play. We got to play a lot of minutes, and those points come in this league no matter what if you're playing the minutes. Yeah. So I've enjoyed it. It was fun playing in situations I didn't normally play in, and just being a part of the team. So.
I was about to say that because, I mean, obviously with the shortage of players, was it nice to receive this more ice time than maybe you would get otherwise at another team where you would be a third liner here? Yeah. You're playing second line all year long and on the power play and on the penalty.
That's right. It's hard to say because, nothing replaces winning. So, if I could look back at that when I won a championship in Newcastle, I played on the third line. I did a little bit of penalty killing, a little bit of power play, and that was a big highlight of my career, really, was winning a championship. So to replace that, to have a championship in Basingstoke, I would do.
Right. Yeah. So. I mean, you got close with that with the knockout, the Challenge Cup semi-final. I mean, great night for the team and all this, sort of getting that far against all the odds. I mean, how does it feel as a player to get there, to get to the Challenge Cup when you're one of the unfancy teams?
Well, that's exactly right. It was just it was our big chance to win something out of the year, and I think we kind of let that slip. That's for sure. But that was the highlight of our year.
We've got to talk about this. I mean, 16 fights this year is a record for you in this country. You've averaged 14 to 13 every year. Do you feel players have to try and prove themselves against you now in this league, rather than as before when you were the young upstart coming in?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's it's still a lot less fights than I'd fight back home. I think last year with total I had 30 fights, so yeah. It's still a lot less. But I think there's some of the old guys still, like myself, need to kind of keep fighting each other to keep our jobs, and then any young guys that want to come over and try us out, they're more than welcome.
Do you feel there is a difference between what you do over here compared to what you do over in the pond? I mean, looking at the stats, it's a ridiculous amount more of fights that you have over in the CHL and the IHL compared to the league. Is that just a difference in the leagues, or is that a difference in the players in the leagues?
A little bit of both. Back home, like I know last year when I went to the IHL, I had 15 fights in 30 games or something, and they were against younger guys. And it's a different caliber of fighting. The guys here are a lot tougher, so it wasn't the hardest work, but it was fine. And there were some tough guys back home, but a lot of younger guys, low 20s, that are wanting to get a name for themselves and really try hard and move their way up the ladder. And I was the same way when I played in Memphis before I came over here. Yeah. So I was just trying to get up the hockey ladder is any best way that you can.
Let's just ask this: who's been your toughest opponent this year?
This year. Oh, McAllister by far.
McAllister. Yeah. And who do you wish you'd had more tussles with this year?
Voth.
Shame is suspended for most of the games, unfortunately.